Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's up, everybody? We're live. We'll let it breathe just for a few brief, oh so brief moments, and then we'll get cooking on today's gut reaction. Lots to talk about. And I think we're good. So, welcome in, everybody. It's the Mile High Huddle podcast, the gut reaction. I'm your host, Chad Jensen. With me, my fellow football priest. You know him, you love him, Zack Kelberman. Zack, it kind of looked a little bit ugly at first from the ones, right? We didn't get to see Bo Nix and company in game 2. Finally, we get to see him. You get Bo 3 and out, an ugly 3 and out that included a delay of game by Bo. But after a couple possessions, Peyton kept throwing him out there. They finally kind of got into a rhythm and punctuated it nicely with the Nix to Sutton touchdown. What was your gut reaction? We'll get to the game and whatnot, but your reaction at least to what you saw from the first team offense.
It was definitely a slow start, Chad. The offensive line issues were definitely a concern for me. The running game struggled to get going, at least on the first drive. Bo Nix was under pressure. They settled down as they went along. I don't know that the Broncos were showing a lot in this game. I think they kept it purposely vanilla, as they tend to do. And this is going to be my prevailing takeaway, Chad. It's preseason. I'm not putting too much stock in it. Again, if they show up against Tennessee in week 1 and they have these elementary concerns, then I will press the panic button. But they settled down, and Courtland Sutton had a really nice touchdown reception.
I think a big part of it, honestly, is just like they want to get out there and crush and do well and translate all the good things they're doing in practice to the field. And in that first game, Zack, where it didn't really happen for them, I mean, what did they get? I think a field goal out of 3 possessions, if memory serves. Then what happens? You start getting blowback and you start getting concerns, and it becomes a storyline in the market. And then all of a sudden that storyline can start kind of weighing on guys. And again, like my observations from Bo Nix that first game was he looked a little tight, and I attributed it to the Sean Payton Super Bowl stuff, and he's going to be a superstar talk and all that stuff. But today at first, it kind of seemed to me a little bit similar, Zack, where just a little stiff, pressing, not as poised, not as like in it. I mean, I think a good example of that was the delay of game. But once they kind of got their wiggles out, they got a couple of those possessions out of the way, you saw them start to click a little bit more and kind of come together. And so I can only hope, I mean, Sean Payton's Broncos teams, Zack, at least up to this point, have been known for being slow starters. Maybe
Right.
they'll be a little bit slow. I don't think they'll be slow, Zack, in the sense of wins and losses. I don't think you're going to lose to the Titans. Colts will be tougher than you think, but I don't think you'll lose to them. But I do think it'll be a little bit slower in terms of the offense. You know, this isn't going to be 2013 Peyton Manning Broncos offense right out of the gates.
I 100% agree with that, Chad. I don't think they're going to be slow in terms of win and losses either, but maybe in terms of being a second half team. They might start some games slow. They might have some penalties, some turnovers even, but the second half, they all clean it up. They get it together and they come out with the victory. If anyone watched the Eagles last season, they were very much a second half football team. It's not the end of the world. And I'm still not, again, judging the whole scope of the 2025 season on preseason. I'm just not doing it yet.
Let's see what the chat has to say. Like, Riptide, what is up, brother? Great to see you. Thank you for the super chat. He says, finally, the real season starts soon. Yeah, we get into a little bit of a hurry up and wait pattern. I don't know, two plus weeks. What's the actual kick date? Is it September 7th? I got to remind myself of this. Yeah, September 7th. So it'll be here quick. 2 weeks, and then it'll be here. Riptide, again, thanks, buddy. To me, you try to trade McLaughlin. Bidet is better in pass pro, and Estime is still young, and I feel he has more upside despite his poor showing. Interestingly, Estime looked really good today. He ended up, once again, Zack, being the last running back at the table in terms of the order in which the touches went, but you didn't see any go to J.K. Dobbins, didn't play, and then McLaughlin. So we'll get into Estime, we'll get into Bidet, but what do you think of his premise here about, hey, try and trade McLaughlin because you got some depth there?
I think Riptide is onto something in the sense that of these running backs, McLaughlin probably has the most value because he's the most proven. And it's not much, but he did show something for Sean Payton to trust him the way Payton did last season. Bidet and Estime even, Chad, are very much still developmental guys to me. And Estime, I don't know, he was north of 5 yards a carry last time I checked. He did look better than the first 2 preseason games, but I'm kind of hoping that he auditioned well for other NFL teams. I'm still hoping, Riptide, the Broncos do flip Estime for a pick because what he showed in the other 2 games, outweighs this one. He's looked capital B bad.
So for what it's worth, Audric Estime today finishes with 45 yards on 8 carries. That's a 5.6 yards per carry average, easily the best of his preseason, maybe the best game total of the season amongst all the running backs. Like, I don't think an individual running back had a better yards per carry day than Estime's today. Meanwhile, Bidet, 4 carries, 14 yards, 3.5 average. Watson, 4 for 13, 3.3. And then Harvey, man, I'll echo something you said earlier, Zach. That first team run blocking and pass blocking, for what it's worth, but specifically in this case, the run blocking from the Broncos O-line did not look good. Harvey was swallowed up on almost every attempt. In fact, every attempt. He carried it 3 times for 4 yards. The 1.3 yards per carry that he got was like him making something, like him avoiding a loss type of carry.
And he was killed for bouncing too many runs outside in the first preseason game. But maybe this is why, because the holes just aren't forming on the inside just yet. So we'll have to see. I'm not, again, I'm not judging this either based on preseason play.
You got 2 highly paid guys at guard. Let's go, Broncos. Come on. William Shaw, good to see you, buddy. Thank you for the super. Thank you for being a member. You legend. Says, wish I could stick around for the show. We'll watch later. Saw some spark from Estime, though. Wish him success wherever he goes. Some small things to fix on both sides of the ball. Have a good show, guys. Thank you, William, dude. That means a lot. Appreciate that. Enjoy the show when you get back to it, my friend. But I don't know, man. With Blake Watson getting hurt, we don't know the extent of it yet. It could be minor, but I mean, Estime might have shown enough to be kept around. I mean, even if it's on the practice squad, Zach, wouldn't totally shock me. Sean Payton does some weird stuff that kind of comes out of left field once in a while. And it would not totally shock me if Estime makes this roster. I mean, literally the 53-man roster, not just the practice squad, but he's definitely put up some tape that I think will make it harder. This game made it harder for the Broncos to try and sneak him onto the practice squad. Yeah. So therein, Zach, comes a decision. You're going to carry him or you're going to waive him, probably expecting him to be gone.
I got to be honest, Chad, after Harvey and Dobbins on the depth chart, I wouldn't be surprised of any move that Sean Payton makes. And I'll hedge my bets just a little bit on Estime. Payton did talk about him just a few months ago before they acquired Dobbins and Harvey. You talked about it all the time as a potential starter, or at least some guy that's going to have a significant role in the backfield. So maybe you're right. Maybe he does stick around now.
We shall see, but I'm really happy for him to see him get a little bit of production there. Taylor, what's going on, big dog? A member, a superstar, legend as well. Says, Bo is back. Concerns from the running backs with the starters. I'm not really concerned about the backs. Again, my bigger concerns was, what's going on with that run blocking stuff. And again, it could have something to do, Zach, with RJ. It seemed like he was outside of that one where they did run a stretch right for Harvey. Everything was kind of inside, as if the Broncos coaches, Payton was calling this game. So it was almost as if Payton's saying, all right, let's get this rook used to like reading the inside and going inside. And they did try to test the edge one time, but the Saints blew it up. I don't know. So I just think it's more in process. It's still kind of everything needs to come together. And I mean that from the offense, like could be a little bit slower start to the season offensively than maybe some Broncos fans were hoping or expecting when the training camp started.
Well, fortunately, they have 2, quote, easier opponents in the Titans and the Colts to figure things out before the schedule gets kind of tough. But for anyone who watched KK, the first episode a few weeks ago, Chad, my whole premise was this is the entire point of preseason, is to get the kinks out, figure out what works, what doesn't, keep what works and discard what doesn't. And if these inside runs, what we saw today, aren't working, the Broncos will correct those, they will discard those, and they will hopefully go with things that work in the future.
Brad says, thank you for being a member, Brad. Says, O-line is fine, and it probably is. I mean, there's a lot of money and talent in that O-line. It just didn't look so hot today. I'll say that. Ronk, what's going on, big dog? Great to see you on Facebook today, saying good afternoon, Chad and Zach, on the Mile High Huddle podcast. Go Bo Broncos. How are you guys feeling? Are you feeling a little bit kind of exhale, so to speak, from the worries, some of the concerns you may have had about Bo and whatnot? The connection with Sutton, Zach, is looking dope. Yeah. I mean, Sutton, okay, get this. Bo Nix threw the ball, let me find him, 14 times, okay? went 10 of 14, 110 yards and a touchdown. Half of those attempts went to Courtland Sutton. Sutton had 7 targets, Zach, 4 receptions, 83 yards, and that touchdown. And 2 of his catches were clutch. The touchdown and then that one back shoulder was really nice too. So your thoughts on that, and then we'll get Fox Family.
That's why they pay Courtland Sutton the big bucks now. You're seeing why he really was worth every cent of that extension, and the trust. That's the number one takeaway for me. The Broncos have a lot of talented receivers, Chad, including a receiver that Bo Nix played with in college in Troy Franklin. I don't think there's any receiver he trusts more than Courtland Sutton, and that was on display today.
Fox Family breaks in the house with a generous super chat. Thank you, buddy. Saying super excited for the season. Estime might gather a draft pick via trade after today. Maybe.
Please.
Maybe. Who knows? You never know. He did look like unlike the first 2 games, Zach, where you're going, well, he's got a third team offensive line blocking for him. What can you expect? Well, then you go, well, wait a minute, but that's a third team defense he's going against. So kind of cancels each other out. Today, he kind of looked like a man among boys. I don't want to make too much out of it, but he looked like he should have been one of the guys chilling on the sideline at that point in the game. So it might have been something that captured the attention of the NFL around the league. I mean, I'm sure it did in terms of it there being enough there on, what was it, 8 carries total? 8 total carries. I don't know if that's enough to give up a draft pick, but we'll see.
Well, there was that report by Diana Rossini a few days ago that said NFL teams are calling for running back help. And, George Payton's phone has probably rung a few times. I don't know. I think Estime figures, Chad, if the Broncos don't want him, if the Broncos aren't going to look at this game, maybe another NFL team will. This was an audition, not just for his time in Denver, but for 31 other prospective teams. Hopefully it comes to fruition.
We got BNS. What's up, dude? Good to see you. Thank you for being a member, Big Dog. Still doing the troll amongst trolls. This troll dates back now, what, Zach? 5 years? I love it, dude. It's so, it's like inside joke kind of things. If you've been around that long, you guys understand this hashtag.
If you know, you know.
BNS, preseason, 3-0, better than the inverse. No doubt about it. Hashtag all Pro Bowls.
Thank you, BNS. And I will say it's been nice to see Bowles back out there, Chad, after his pretty scary bout with asthma, his breathing issues he had at practice or joint practice, whatever it was, a week or so ago. So I'm with you, BNS. We've made amends now on Bowles. We found a middle ground.
Real quick from Keith jumping in. Did Wazarike lock up a spot on the 53? And how about Krull over Loner? Man, both those questions are really tough to answer because Wazarike, I think today he was maybe a little bit better than his first 2 games, but I mean, he finished second, Zach, on the team in tackles, plus he had that sack. So I think the Broncos, look, he's a 4th round pick. You were patient with him during the suspension. You were patient with him in bringing him back last year where he was kind of slow, getting his football legs back underneath him. And it could all be coming together for you now. I'm not sure you're really helping your team by saying, we're going to go with Jackson, for example, over Wazarike. I think they carry him, Zach, but I don't know about the tight end issue. That one's a little bit more murky to me.
I think they carry a Wazarike by scarcity, by circumstance, Chad. They don't really have anyone up and coming on the defensive line. So if he looked a little better today and more further along today, then I think he makes the 53. I'm with you there. Krull and Loner, that battle, we know, this is what we know about tight end, that Evan Ingram and Adam Troutman are locked into spots. And then Nate Atkins, when he's healthy, he will be on the 53. I think, though, gun to my head right now, I think Krull did enough, Chad. I think he's just a little more proven and reliable for what Sean Payton wants to do with that spot.
And Sean Payton, he just has those two. He has a connection with Krull, for better or for worse. But I'll tell you this, it was good to see Loner get a nice little bit of be able to use his legs a little on a specific route down the left sideline, that floater. And then also that botched in the red zone, that got tipped. It was a little tight end screen where the tight end stays into block and then leaks out. And Ellinger goes to kind of sidearm it to him. And that, whatever it was, rush linebacker that was he was blocking Loner, just got a finger on it. But if Loner catches that, like if it doesn't get a finger on it, he's rumbling in for a touchdown. It would have been big, massive like boost of confidence. That was Sean Payton, Zach, specifically trying to dial up a little love for his Jimmy Graham wannabe clone, so to speak.
And that's why you see the potential in someone like Caleb Lohner. And I think if the Broncos want to hang him around, keep him around, Chad, the practice squad is calling his name at this point.
We also have here. Did I jump him? Well, first of all, let me find him, and then I'll come back. Where'd he go? There he is. Ralph joining us over on YouTube.
Thank you,
member,
Ralph.
dude. Thank you, pal. Great to have you. Really appreciate your support. He also says on Facebook, missed most of the game because the wife had chores for me. Cracking that whip. She's cracking that whip on you, Ralph. I know how it goes. Trust. I was happy Sutton got the touchdown. Now on to real football. What trades do my pre-see before Tuesday? I think, Zach, you look at the positions of strength. We've already touched a little bit on running back, but I didn't agree with Ryan Harris's comment during the game about Damari Mathis, man. He's had an excellent preseason. Uh-oh, it happened, dude.
I'm good.
Did it just bounce you?
It lagged for a second, so I hopped out and hopped back in.
Oh, all right. Anyway, the comment about Damari Mathis has had an amazing preseason. I'm not so sure about that, and that he would be trade bait. Now, if he didn't have a $3.5 million salary, maybe he would be trade bait, but they're deep at corner. Back to the question. They're deep at running back. You don't want to take any more chances, Zach, I think, at wide receiver. Those are the only two spots I could really see there maybe being a trade, possibly, that the Broncos have enough there that they'd also be willing to part.
Mathis is a guy that I want the Broncos to flip just because of the financials. They can clear, I think, over $3 million. They don't need him. And I think maybe he showed enough where an NFL team takes a chance on him. I'm with you, Chad. It's a position of strength the Broncos could trade from, and cornerback is one of those positions.
All right. We got Ted jumping in again, Ted, who is a legend, who's been with us a long time. Are we going to see it at the meet and greet this year, brother? I hope so. He says, thank you for the super chat, my brother. Didn't get to watch. Did the starters play mainly so that they didn't have a long layoff? I'm so ready for week 1. MHH for life. Let's go Broncos. I don't know exactly why. I think, honestly, if Bo Nix and the Broncos first teamers, Zach, have a kind of easygoing first preseason game where they come out, they play a couple, 2-3 possessions, they're putting points on the board. It looks pretty, paint by numbers. Okay, we know what we got here. I don't think you would have seen them again, but they sat the starters in the second preseason game specifically because Sean Payton felt like they'd gotten enough work in those 2 joint practices. I don't think they needed to play him again today, but they did. I think it was mainly because Sean Payton, Zach, felt unsatisfied by what his starters had produced up to this point.
And especially in this game, the plan was maybe to play him for a series if it went well, maybe 2, but he had him out there for the third. He obviously wasn't happy with what he saw, and he wanted more on tape. I'm glad he did it in hindsight. No injuries.
Ted, so good to see you, buddy. And hopefully we'll talk to you again soon. George Fox, great person, but I would have liked our third team to have played better. I mean, hey, at least the third team quarterback was out there working miracles. I mean, that touchdown that Rowan caught at the end, answering a prayer for Ellinger, like he's just scrambling around, as Scott said before we went live, Sam Ellinger, the preseason god, like he's, he's got a pretty good track record in the preseason. It was good for him. It's good to see him produce the way that he did, knowing he's almost certainly not making the 53. But man, he's drifting back on that scrambled drill, and it looked like a prayer, and it was a prayer. But if you notice right at the end, dude, of his wind up, he kind of just put some mustard on it. He wasn't just throwing it up. He was trying to get it to exactly where it went, and it worked. So good for him.
And Sean Payton really is a quarterback whisperer. Every quarterback he gets his hands on, whether a first-round pick, Chad, or whether someone like Ian Book, Zach Wilson, or now Sam Ellinger, he makes chicken salad out of them every time.
Did we get here's Scott? I don't think we actually got Brad. I think we had him on and I never got to him. Brad, thank you, dude. Good to see you. Thank you for being a member. Says everyone worried about the offensive line. Give it a few weeks to click. I echo that. And I do think it will take a few weeks for that offensive line, even though it's the same starting 5 coming back. That first team has not looked impressive to me. It just tells me they might need a little bit more time on task. But be rad, dude. Great to see you. Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you, Brad. And yeah, it's also proof why the teams and the Broncos need to play their starters in the preseason. Imagine they have these chemistry issues now. Imagine they didn't play the starters at all in the preseason. They were trying to get that down from week one. The Nathaniel Hackett route is not the way to go.
Phil, good to see our friend down in Tucson saying good afternoon, Chad, Zach, and Deacon Scott. Unimpressed, but it's preseason. I just hope they're starting to believe the hype, thinking they're going to the Super Bowl without playing tough to get there. Hashtag Buckham, MHH for life, Broncos for life. Yeah, it's hard to put your finger on exactly why, because let's face it, that first team defense didn't look exactly smothering, although it wasn't the full unit that you're going to see when the starters roll out there against the Titans, including, I guess, really conspicuously, I'm talking about Dre Greenlaw wasn't out there. Although it was cool to see that they let him dress and do the pregame ritual and all that stuff, but he didn't play. The offense, Zach, initially unimpressive, and even overall, I'm not really impressed. I'm glad that they were able to kind of get that monkey off their back and get a nice touchdown, but it seemed like it was a little more difficult than it should have been. And also, I think the Saints had their dander up a little bit for Sean Payton this time, honestly. I think they, under their new young head coach, I think they kind of played with a lot more energy than you maybe might have expected a first-team defense in the preseason finale. You know what I mean?
I'll give Kellen Moore a lot of credit. They do look much better coached than they did under Dennis Allen, Chad. So I think maybe it'll be a more competitive team, and it's a sign of things to come. But I can only speak for myself, though, Phil. I didn't predict the Broncos making the Super Bowl. I thought they could contend, and I still think they can contend for the AFC West. But penciling them into Santa Clara next February is a little premature. They do have more work to be done and a lot more still to prove.
I don't know what people ever thought. Why Dennis Allen kept getting those opportunities to be a head coach. I mean, he's proven to be a solid defensive coordinator, but a head coach twice still shocks me. Phil, do you think Sean Payton was showcasing running backs for trade value? Yeah, I mean, that's definitely part of the calculus. Hey, let's the guys that were maybe a little less dubious about carrying, we haven't made our decision yet. And by the way, the fact that Bidet obviously has the edge, but the fact that Bidet was getting a lot of looks early, including on returns, Watson, it tells me that, yeah, Bidet's a little bit more favored, but those three, it's still not 100% clear picture for Peyton and the Broncos. So, yeah, they're hoping they'll get out there and prove it to them first and foremost, and then also, hey, let's see. There's some running back hungry teams out there. Let's see if we can't get a trade. But they also, Zach, I noticed real quick, and then I'll throw it back to you, did a pretty good job for the most part, it seemed to me anyway, of trying to hide Courtney Jackson.
That's an excellent point. Yeah, they did. They definitely have big plans for Jackson. I'd be surprised to let him get away. And Phil, yeah, like Chad was saying, indirectly they played all their running backs, so they put an audition tape out for all the 31 teams to see what they can do. But we'll have an answer sooner than later because cut down day is Tuesday, and if there's going to be any activity, it might happen over this weekend.
All right. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see, Phil. Where are we at on time? Guys, we got to keep today's gut reaction a little bit shorter than normal just because we got a lot of content to get up covering the game at milehighhuddle.com. But Keith says, retire the jet sweep. Yeah, it didn't work so well this summer. But there were times, actually, Zach, I'm trying to think of it last year. I mean, that's when they were trying to get Marvin Mims involved and lining him up as a running back, doing some of the jet sweep stuff. There were a few I can think of offhand where, they pick up 7, 8, 9, nothing explosive, nothing that ever seemed like it surprised the defense. And today was just another example of that where it was like, jet sweep, oh, swallowed up. Like, what else you got?
I think the jet sweep that they showed in the preseason is not the jet sweep we'll see in the regular season. Again, they're being purposely vanilla, and they're going to have a lot more creatively.
There
I
you
glitched
go.
for a second. Creatively love to show in week one.
We shall see. I'm hoping that's the case, to be honest with you. I very much am. But we shall see. Yeah, dude, thanks for that, Ralph. Really appreciate you,
Thanks,
buddy.
bro.
And look who it is also. Gene William, brace girdle in the house. Yo, boys, do we think we're trading Stidham? Why didn't he play? I am surprised he didn't play at all, Zach. Like, you play Bo Nix, but not Jarrett Stidham, like not even. That was curious. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think he's safe. Sean Payton loves him. He's been a rock star this summer, Gene. And you need, I'll always knock wood, but you need a failsafe just in case Bo Nix does go down or whatever happens. And Stidham can at least keep you above water. He can keep you relevant and keep you contending. I think they were just signaling that he's on the 53. I might be wrong.
Yeah, and by the way, B-Rad, see, I told you, you got to trust, man. Sometimes we might like skip over one, but we don't. We typically, I'd say we're like 99.9 percentile. We don't miss a super chat every once in a blue moon, but one of the three of us usually catches it. If we kind of skip past somebody, we always come back. So appreciate your patience, big dog. Valentine Mazau coming from somewhere. Oh, Austria. This is awesome. Hashtag state of being, baby. Finally live, since I am from Austria and mostly a sleeper at work when y'all are live. Love your content, watching and listening a lot. Greetings from Austria. Well, hey, dude, glad that you are able to make it live. That time difference is kind of a bummer for our European brothers and sisters, but thank you for the super chat, and you're proving it right now that Broncos country is not a geographic location. It's hashtag a state of being.
That's very, very cool that you're joining us all the way from Austria. Hope you're enjoying the show, and feel free to contribute. Let us know what you're thinking about the game.
All right. That's awesome, dude. Broncos country in Europe, dude. It's so rad. Okay, let me see here. Zach, I want to cover some studs, some duds, maybe a better way to put it at this point in where we're at in the calendar. It's more about risers and fallers. You answer riser or a faller. I'm going to throw you the name. You tell me if it's coming out of this riser or a faller. You ready?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Tyler Bidet.
Riser.
What about Blake Watson?
Faller. He had that little injury too at the end of the game.
All right. What about Lucas Kroll?
Coming out of this game, he's a riser.
3 catches, 49 yards for what it's worth. Kyrese Rowan.
He had that prayers answered. I saw the tweet, Chad. Yeah, as a practice squad developmental guy, I guess I'll say riser.
All right, here's maybe a little bit tougher one, but maybe not too tough. Caleb Lohner.
For this game, and considering the circumstances, relative to him, riser.
Yeah, definitely relative to relative. Let's just say that. Courtney Jackson, hard to say. Did get that one catch though that went for 20.
I think he's done so much this summer, Chad. He's a riser perpetually.
All right. How about Pat Bryant, the second most targeted receiver today, but he only had 2 catches for 19 yards. Pat Bryant.
He was a riser a few days ago when the Broncos traded Vele.
Boom. All right. Kind of disappointing. Evan Ingram, by the way, dropped that pass. I was curious. That didn't help in terms of getting a little momentum rolling. All right, let me turn it over to the defense, Zach. Joshua Pickett, who finished with the most tackles on the team.
Riser.
Uwazurike, riser, 1 sack.
Same as Lohner, relative to him, he's a riser.
Here's a little bit tougher one. Lavelle Bailey.
I'm going to say faller.
He just hasn't popped, but we know Sean Payton loves him for whatever it's worth. And maybe a little bit harder as well. Karine Reed, the undrafted rookie linebacker.
Oh, man. It's I don't know. I'm going to say neutral. Incomplete.
All right, what about Q Robinson?
Oh, big time riser, man. He had a sack today. He's going to be a beast.
It's good to see. I'm trying to see if anyone here really jumps out where there's enough there to even really justify riser or faller. Okay,
PS2
one more.
Good.
Who?
PS2.
For sure. What about Chris Abrams' drain?
Yeah, I love the kid. I know you do too, Chad. Riser.
Totally. So I think more the kind of the names you're looking for, more risers than there were fallers coming out of this game, but a lot of the spots, let's be honest, Zach, were already decided going into this game. You know, this game may have had like an impact on somewhere between 5 to 7 spots on the roster. It was mostly, in terms of the arithmetic, it's mostly how are we filling out our practice squad information here that was basically transcribing. But how you feeling overall, Zach, about the offense, about the defense coming out of this preseason? And then we'll grab Ralph Bracegirdle.
They're about where I expected them to be, Chad. Again, KK, I wasn't just blowing smoke. This is the whole point of preseason. And I think for preseason, keeping it in that context, the Broncos did get better as a team. Still a lot of work left to be done. They're not a finished product, but you don't want them to be now on August 23rd. You want them peaking as the year goes on, as the season goes on. And I think just as we saw last season with Sean Payton, you're going to see it again this year.
Well said. Ralph, Gene William, if we were trading Stidham, we would have showcased him the entire game. So he's answering his boy. We know what we have in him. Talk to your old man once in a while. Why don't you? There you go. Message from Dad to Gene on the Mile High Huddle podcast. We are the telephone today. That's what we were just barely for the brace girdle fellas. Great to have both of you in the chat, by the way. All right, I'm taking one last glance here. See if there's any specific topics that I may have missed in I don't know. I mean, honestly, Sam Ehlinger, you think the Broncos try to keep him around, Zach, as a practice squad quarterback?
That was a debate. Sean Payton said he doesn't know if he's keeping 2 or 3. He kept Wilson around last year. I think Ehlinger did enough where it intrigues Payton. He might keep him around.
Big Earn, great to see you, pal. Thanks for being with us in the chat today. This might be the point here. A lot of comments about Estime, obviously. Ronk says he waited too long to have a good game in the preseason, and that may be true in terms of sticking in Denver. But I am very confident that if the Broncos waive him, he's not making it to Denver. Even if he would have turned in like another similarly average or subpar game today, which he did not. He was very good today. I still think that draft pedigree, being in the Sean Payton system, and his relative youth, someone would have claimed him anyways. But today only punctuates that. Like, if the Broncos waive Estime, he's gone. So they got to really, I think, be sure that that's the right move for the team.
Well, here's a hot take, and I think it holds water. They don't need Audric Estime. They have their ideal backfield with what Sean Payton wants to do and the committee approach. You have your top 2 guys. He really likes Bidet. He really likes McLaughlin. There you go. I don't think there's any room. It's a game of musical chairs, Chad, and Audric Estime is left standing. It is what it is.
That it is. I'm trying to find a good one here from String Guy. One of our great members says, I saw nothing to alleviate my concerns about Denver's ability to stop the run, especially up the middle. I hope they can bring in a nose tackle either off the waiver wire or in a trade. They did bring in that big boy from formerly of the Texans.
I was going to ask if he played. I didn't.
He did play. He had 1 tackle. I don't know. It's too early for the snap counts to be out. We don't have the sheets on that yet, but he did play, Zach.
Yeah, Michael Dwumfor. I don't want to butcher his name like we do every other name on this podcast, but that was some help they brought in, former Texans contributor. Maybe they'll keep scouring the waiver wire. I think for tight end and defensive line, those positions are not set in stone on the 53 by any means.
I like this from MBLEX, dude. Broncos 5th stringers better not lose to Jake Haener. Obviously jumping in before the game was over, so awesome. It worked out. They did not. Some kind of facepalm moments for Haener there towards the end. I kind of felt for him a little bit. But if you want to be a big boy and hang in the big leagues, you got to produce in those moments. Phil, do you guys think Stidham didn't play because they wanted to? Yes, this is the real reason why Stidham didn't play. Because they wanted to highlight Ehlinger and give him a chance to shine. Only because they're not keeping 3 quarterbacks. I don't think they can justify it this year. I really don't. They're too deep everywhere else. You don't need a 3rd quarterback. Both the quarterbacks that you do have, your top 2 are also really young guys and strong and healthy guys. They're not keeping 3. I think that was more of, honestly, Zach, a favor to Ehlinger. Like, hey,
exactly.
And not only that, a favor to him, Zach, but hey, maybe we can trade him. We might be able to trade him. It's a dim possibility, but I think that was their modus operandi last year with Zach Wilson, and it didn't really pan out for him, but maybe it happens in Ehlinger's case. If not, I think he earned a job somewhere on a roster in Denver. They just don't need him.
Yeah, I think Sean Payton's made that clear how he felt about Jarrett Stidham this entire process. And you're right. That was my take. They were trying to do right by Sam Ehlinger, have him play the majority of the game and showcase his stuff. And even if it doesn't work out in Denver, he put out some good tapes that maybe will intrigue another team.
Moo Breezy, this is an interesting point that I didn't think of offhand when I was asked this. We were asked this earlier. He says our edge room is loaded. Maybe we could trade Dondre Tillman. That's true. The only problem is Tillman hasn't looked so good this summer in the preseason. So the film that all the teams are going off, frankly, he hasn't. First of all, he has not flashed, and second, he's just looked kind of like a guy. He doesn't look like, hey, I'm building on my relatively impressive rookie season last year. Who, he had 5 sacks just like Jonah Ellis did, and what was it, that Tampa game, which was the Broncos' first win of the season? He was key in that game, making Baker Mayfield very uncomfortable the whole time. So what do you think, though, Zach? Do you think there's enough value in Tillman where the phone rings and someone needs an edge and he's the guy? Because I'm just not sure there is.
I don't think they're going to get enough back that would justify trading Dondre Tillman, even if George Payton is taking that call, because that's so valuable in the NFL to have wave after wave after wave of pass rushers. You guys want to be like the Philadelphia Eagles? That's how they won the Super Bowl, by having that swarming defense. They might need Dondre Tillman, Chad, because other than Cooper, no one really is a non-injury risk, because Benito has the foot. Ellis had the shoulder. I think Q Robinson, didn't he come into the NFL with some sort of minor ailment as well, or ended his college campaign with one? You need healthy bodies, and Dondre Tillman's a damn good one to have.
Hey, thanks, Christopher. Appreciate that. Yeah, guys, hit that like button. All right, we got a few messages for you. Then we're gonna take one last look at the chat. So any burning questions, topics, supers, get them in the chat now, and we will get to them.
Tremendous gut reaction episode of the Mile High Huddle podcast. If you're not doing so, please follow us on X at the MHH pod. You can follow the main account on X at Mile High Huddle. Chad at Chad and Jensen, myself at Kelberman NFL, and Scott, our producer, at Scout Kennedy. If you guys want some merch like we're rocking each and every single podcast, check out MHHmerch.com and get you some. If you haven't done so yet, please drop us a like at Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod. You can find us on Instagram at Mile_High_Huddle. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you're leaving your football priest a 5-star review for a chance to win some merch each and every single month. But if anything, y'all, please, 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 very important as always, that you subscribe, you like, you share this video and every video you see on the MHH channel. It really helps us grow and reach more Broncos fans just like you.
I'm going to throw out another faller, but I don't think it really matters because there are no other options. But Crawshaw, dude, he's not really looking like the guy I expected him to. And I got to think the Broncos, Zach, are a little bit concerned that at this late stage, he's not like showing some improvement or showing some strong signs of, I mean, he did his first, they only punted once today. All right. And it was on a Bo Nix possession, following a Bo Nix possession. Every other instance, Ellinger got him down there far enough where they'd either get points, go for it on 4th down, field goal, whatever it may be. So there's only the one punt. It wasn't exactly terrible, 42-yard gross punt, but the net was 33 yards. How are you feeling about the rookie 6th-round punter, Jeremy Crawshaw?
Who would have thought we'd be pining for Riley Dixon at this point? No, I'm playing. I think he's going to turn out very well. The only issue with him is consistency. Once he gets the consistency down with that booming leg, he's going to be an asset to the Broncos. Maybe some of us, I'll raise my hand, thought he'd be better out of the gates. He'd be a Pro Bowl punter from day one, but he needs some work. But we know the talent's there, Chad. We know the ceiling's there.
All right, guys, a mile high salute and a special shout out to the great Super Chat superstars and members and supporters helping us keep the lights on today, like Rip Die, a couple of supers. Thank you, brother. William, The Ronk, Taylor Christensen, Fox Family Breaks, BNS and OG going way back, B-Rad, Ted, the Brace Girdle Boys, that's Ralph, that's Gene, Tucson Phil, our dear friend, George Fox, also a dear friend, Valentin Mazal. Great to have you from Austria, big dog. And props once again to Ralph for becoming a member on YouTube. Much love and respect, dude. Thank you so much. Zach and I, we're back tomorrow night, a Sunday, a third straight Sunday edition of the Aftermath podcast. So that'll be fun. We'll see you by then. we'll have a lot of news, Zach, on the cuts and whatnot, even though the deadline's not till Tuesday. I expect to start seeing some tomorrow at the latest, honestly, maybe even later today, but probably tomorrow since the Broncos are traveling.
Yeah, the news could come hot and heavy. We'll have it covered for you at milehuddle.com. We'll see you tomorrow night. Take care. And as always, go Broncos.